Donald Trump has begun to do this, and it's no joke. What impact will this have on the cryptocurrency market? Additionally, some assets are being moved by the U.S. government. Is this a chance to purchase, or will it mean selling off? Additionally, many of our influencers have suddenly become highly interested in and concerned about XRP. We will also discuss that. That's all I ask. Sending out those positive energies makes me grin, doesn't it? Let's get started, smishity. Hit the like button. On a day when Bitcoin is down 1%, XRP is currently up 2% at $2.32, closing at 108. 1% and Ethereum dropped 1.5%. As a result, many individuals are considering XRP. After we discussed it this morning when XRP broke out from the downward trend line, or as you might say, the triangle. On the daily chart, it is now right 1348 IMA after a few months of being in this formation. Thus, there were two positive developments for XRP. Now, a lot of influencers are discussing how XRP is heading to the moon, correct? Or I'm going to open a position in XRP. As we can observe, Karaman claims that XRP is breaking out the triangle symbol to the upside. 375 is the target, correct? Additionally, Mimen Crypto reported that our XRP trade was booming. He opened a $1 million position, for example. I take it that the position is 2.27 million. However, since it's 11x, I believe you put 200,000, but it still opens up a good position on XRP. Indeed, XRP made a splash. As you can see, XRP had a strong surge here at 2.8% for around 10 to 15 minutes while the market was not doing well. Doing that well today, it was like, ooh, is moving. Can see a lot of red, not a lot of red, but some red and some green. You know, we had a wonderful green day yesterday, but we're already seeing some pullbacks on some assets today. After seeing a lot of green days, the S&P 500 is currently experiencing a down day. So there is, I wouldn't say a little amount of concern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 consecutive green days are visible to the first. We may be witnessing a crimson. This is the problem then. And the reason this would be the case is that, according to U.S. Secretary Bennett, more than 100 nations did not reply to U.S. tariffs with trade agreements. And it is anticipated that these letters will reach each of these nations. Individual trade letters with new tariff rates are now being posted by President Trump to various nations. Trump has so far declared 25% for South Korea and 25% for Japan. Trump said that if Japan raises tariffs on the U.S. in retaliation, he will hike tariffs on Japan as well. The S&P 500's losses, however, are increasing to 1% for the day. Did Part 2 of Liberation Day basis point separate yields from the peak at the time of President Trump's announcement of the 90-day tariff moratorium. Yields are increasing at this time, irrespective of the state of the trade war. The market is very clear even though spending is fully taken over long-term rates. Thus, it's a really intriguing circumstance. Today's market is not doing well. That's why we're seeing each other after a lengthy weekend. I will reiterate what I have already said. Trump gives and he takes. Correct. Therefore, we must accept both the positive and negative aspects of these situations and adapt to the circumstances. There will be opportunities for us on certain days. There will be influential people. There will be locations where you can, make some pleasant exchanges. Correct. Our partner BTCC will provide you with the chance to use leverage if you're interested. You will receive a 10% deposit bonus on your initial deposits above $500 USD if you use my link to sign up. Depending on how much you trade, you might also receive up to $10,000 per user. Whether you feel comfortable using real money, we may start with that and see whether you like it. However, please trade properly. Leverage has helped me make a lot of money, but it has also cost me a lot of money. Therefore, you need to be quite cautious. Additionally, please engage in responsible trade. Additionally, despite BTCC's 13-year existence, we have witnessed exchanges shut down. They have been observed to close position. We have witnessed their insolvency. Read the user agreement. Then, before embarking on the voyage, be sure you are aware of the dangers and rewards. Additionally, I will receive a little commission if you click on my link. So, I'm grateful for that. The US government recently deposited 218,000 Ethereum on Coinbase, which is another factor that might be slightly upsetting the market, potentially to sell into fiat. You know? That is, the US government, in particular, isn't going to be doing anything. They shouldn't transfer assets to an exchange, right? Thus, Ethereum is in an intriguing position, and that might be an additional factor contributing to the market's potential slight decline today. However, once more, the market is somewhat imitating the current state of the stock market, which is likewise red today. The VIX is higher, as you can see. It's not that crazy. It is 18. It's not above 20 then. Yeah. If you have been following the channel for some time, you are aware that anything below 20 is regarded as being fairly bullish. Additionally, the cryptocurrency Fear and Greed Index is at 73, which is a very greedy number, isn't it? Not extremely greedy, but greed all the same. With everything that's going on right now, we're in a very interesting situation where Bitcoin is really close to reaching all-time highs. In the upcoming days, we'll observe how the market might behave. I'll be keeping an eye on critical levels. Naturally, I would like to see XRP close on the daily candle over 2.3 if we zoom out for a moment. In order to determine whether XRP can close above that level, I will be keeping an eye on it here. Following that, there aren't many levels that provide significant resistance support. We've seen them touch or stop. As you can see, all of these levels were simply cut through. That 273 area was the only one that occasionally encountered some resistance. So once more, it is what I will be keeping an eye out for. And because we haven't, that is, I was accidentally looking at the weekly, it will be intriguing to see if we can close. Here, we have been unable to close on a daily basis. Since June 11th, therefore, July has arrived. The last time we closed at this level was more than a month ago. Therefore, it will be fascinating to see if we can resume our conversation. A parallel channel is another configuration that might be made at this same location. This might be interpreted as indicating that we are in a parallel channel to the upside. Thus, once more, this is a further factor that influences the price of XRP that we must monitor and take into account. We'll see how things develop over the next few days and hours with XRP as Bitcoin is exhibiting. I wouldn't describe it as weakness, difficulty breaking out of the range and reaching a new all-time high. That hasn't been possible. Additionally, the trend line for Bitcoin jumped above, although we hadn't witnessed a continuance for the most part. It broke over that trend as we were discussing it. With a little further zoom out, we could see that trend line, which broke over and reached the resistance level. Since then, Bitcoin has been a little weak. It will be fascinating to watch how this vulnerability develops over the next few days. Additionally, we might be able to gain a little more clarity. There's not anything major on the financial position outside of these tariffs that, again, may bring panic. But maybe we've already experienced the dread, and we know that Trump, he's extremely, I wouldn't call it unexpected. He's more dynamic than anything else. And he will pause or do this or that if he feels the need to. Correct. He had a change of heart. Additionally, the market dislikes that since it prefers certainty. It enjoys knowing what will happen, you know. This is something that the president always does, you know. Correct. Well, we have unpredictability, and Trump is a little bit more unpredictable, he says. In this case, you observe that the yield is soaring and that the markets are acting erratically. And what do you know? Whoa, I haven't used this in a long time. You are on an